I'm Alex Friedman, and this is my TED Talk, Opening the Door to Open-Mindedness. I believe that being open-minded is an important part of learning and of growing as a person. A man named James Dewar once said, "Books and minds only work when they're open," and I definitely agree with him. However, there is a large debate on whether or not open-mindedness precludes individuality and independent thought. The dictionary definition of open-minded is, according to Merriam-Webster, being receptive to arguments or ideas, or being willing to consider different ideas and opinions. To me, that sounds like a great thing, but a large number of people see it differently. It's a matter of perception. Either open-mindedness is a mental weakness and a lack of conviction, or it is a strength and a willingness to admit faults. In one of his songs, Andrew Wang says, "I'm so open-minded, my opinions fell out of me. Do I even have my own personality?" To me, this quote not only illuminates the rhetoric against open-mindedness, it lets me show how I have become more so. Even as recently as a year ago, I would have started commenting and arguing against the lyrics as soon as I noticed that his opinion was different from mine. But when I listened to the song again last week, I noticed a different opinion and let it be because my opinion was as different from his as his was from mine. This quote shows the importance of perception too. In the same way that a philosophical proverb can have deep meanings or no meaning depending on who's listening to it, a word has to carry the speaker's opinions. Richard Dawkins, the evolutionary biologist, thinks that we can be so open-minded that our brains drop out, but honestly I disagree. My open-mindedness is different from his, and mine is most definitely a good thing. I might not stick to the dictionary definition, but a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, as Shakespeare would say. I have always had confidence in my opinions and in my knowledge, and that's been a positive trait of mine for a long time. It's allowed me to develop my intellect and my arguing skills. However, it was very detrimental when I started trying to be open-minded. Open-mindedness and unshakable opinions are fundamentally incompatible. That's why politics are even half as complicated as they are. When people with differing opinions argue, their own position is actually entrenched by the conflict. Of course, a politician has to be consistent in their values to be supported, and if they were to admit the other party made some good points, they would just lose support. When I looked at the quotes from powerful people and highly confident people, they seldom talked about how open-mindedness was a positive thing. On the other hand, great scientific and philosophical minds like Einstein, Dewey, Thoreau, and Buddha praise open-mindedness for allowing progress. Einstein even said, "The mind that opens to a new idea never returns to its original size." At the very least, trying to be open-minded has given me far more than just one new idea. For the last few months, I have been trying to become more open to new ideas and conflicting opinions, and it has really changed how I see things. Undeniably, the world seems much more complex when I don't let myself divide it into black and white. I'm certainly less argumentative because if I already believe that the opinions of others are as valid as my own, then I don't feel threatened when my own are challenged. Winston Churchill said, "The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is." But at this point, I feel like everyone has their own truths. They may not be right or correct, but the beauty of being human is that we get to have our own views and differences.